teaching you some things, some ways that Spirit want to communicate with us. They're always looking to show us signs. They're always trying to get a message to us. And if we don't know the ways and the signs that they can try to communicate with us, sometimes we miss them, and we don't want to do that. That's one of the ways of building our own intuition, is knowing the signs when we see them. So many times people come to me and they're like, I'm not getting any signs from heaven. You are. You might just be missing them. So we're going to start off with this first show about this, and you know, every show is going to be about something a little bit different, and I will be giving readings on the show and at my home studio in Winchendon and at my events. I'll bring the camera out and about, so it's going to be a little different for every show, but today's show we're going to start with the signs from above. So the number one way that Spirit tries to communicate with us is through our dreams. Okay, that's because when we're dreaming at night, or when we're sleeping, I should say, we're in a relaxed state, and they can get through to us the easiest. So many people say to me, I just want to see my loved one in heaven, and they're not coming to me at night, but they might not be remembering that we really do visit heaven. So I tell people, have a pen and paper ready, laying next to your bedside. So if something does happen or you have a dream, you can jot it down, because most of the time you're never going to remember it in the morning. So the number one way to communicate with heaven is in our dream time. Now, there's a difference between having a dream and having a visit. So a visit from heaven would be colorful. You would hear a conversation. It would be more real, just like you're sitting in the same room having a cup of tea with them. That's a visit from heaven. And we really do visit heaven at night. We just don't remember it all the time. I have, and I know this for sure, and I try to teach everything that I really do know for sure. So I have waken up in the middle of visiting people in heaven, and I'd be like, oh, I was just having a chat with my mom. So we really do visit heaven at night. And a lot of people say to me, how come they seem so happy up there and we're so sad down here? Well, they remember those visits from heaven. They remember sitting and chatting with us, and they're always watching us, guiding us, looking down on us, trying to help us in our life. We just don't sometimes remember those visits, so it's that stretch that we feel. Okay, so dreams, your number one way, your number one sign from heaven. And I should tell you, if you want to really learn to communicate with those we love, with guides, with angels, the best way to do it is to learn how to meditate. It doesn't have to be a formal meditation. It just needs to be where you can just quiet your mind enough for Spirit to start being able to get through us. And sometimes it's very subtle, but you might see something, you might hear something, or you might just get a feeling, okay? So the number one way is to quiet our mind and let Spirit start speaking directly to us. So sometimes you can even feel the presence of your loved one around you. Have you ever just been standing there and all of a sudden it's like getting a hug from heaven? It feels peaceful, it feels relaxed. And then there's other times, especially when they've first passed, that they come so close and they blend with us so closely that all of a sudden we start to feel like we want to cry because we actually feel them. And then they'll start backing away because they don't want to make you cry, but they want you to know that they're there. So lots of different people have a lot of different signs, and when I'm giving readings, I ask the spirit in heaven, how are you trying to let her know or him know that your presence is around them? So sometimes it's just even a smell. If your grandfather smoked cigars, or your grandmother's perfume, the smell of flowers, and sometimes even the smell of their favorite food that they used to eat. I've smelled buttered popcorn, pepperoni pizza, you name it, it's out there. You just have to realize that when you are like, why am I smelling that? You have to know that you're getting a sign from heaven. So my grandfather passed when I was very young, and I said, oh, Grandpa, I miss you. Can you give me a sign from heaven? And I have a 2-story home, and all of a sudden, probably about an hour later, the whole house seemed like it filled up with this smoke, and I actually thought there was a fire. So I ran up and down the stairs looking for, where is this smell coming from? And then I'm like, cigars. So my mom was still here, and so I called her up, Mom, did Grandpa smoke cigars? And she's like, yes, all the time. So sometimes you need to ask someone too to confirm that you are getting a sign. But the smoke went away, and I thanked my grandfather, right? It takes a lot of energy in heaven to send signs down to us. So smells are another way. And then I wonder if you've ever been just sitting around watching television or in a room and you actually hear a knock. It's actually like somebody wanting to come in. You might have run over to the door or ran out and looked out the window to see if somebody was there, but they actually can knock, and it's always a message that Spirit wants you to know they're there, and they want to come in. They really want to get that sign to you. So that's happened to me a few times, and at first I still fall for it. I still run over to the door and open it, and I'm like, okay. But it's very loud. That's something that you'll hear right outside. Boom, boom, boom. So a lot of times, music means a lot to people in spirit, and music means a lot to us down here, because music actually raises your vibration. So me as a medium to connect with spirit, I need to raise my vibration, and they need to lower ours. But music is such a positive, wonderful way to raise your vibration. Lots of times, Spirit will tell me they're in a car, and they'll show me a radio, and they'll be turning the dial, or they'll show me a clock in the kitchen, and they'll be turning the dial. And I'll always ask that person that I'm sitting with, so you're hearing a song that connects you with this person? And they're always like, yes. And I'll either know, is it in the house or it's in the car, because spirits, their loved ones, are showing me. So music is a biggie. Sometimes I even wake up in the middle of the night and somebody will be playing me a song there. Or if I'm giving a reading and I'm not quite getting the message, lots of times, I hear all kinds of music, and I'll start trying to say the lyrics to the person. You are my sunshine. It always hits a chord with someone, music does. So a very big sign from heaven is hearing a song on the radio, or I swear they pay the DJs up there to play them at the time that we're going to be there. I don't exactly know how they do that, but I can tell you that songs are very big from heaven. So these are a few ways. And now another big way of connecting with heaven is we are all energy, right? So energy just transforms. We never really die, right? So we're energy, and everything around us is energy. So one big way that spirit can get through is electricity, right? Lights going on and off, or, you know, I've had people say, oh, there's this light bulb, I keep replacing it, but it just keeps blinking and blinking. Or I have a good one, actually. My uncle, who's in heaven, I could always tell that he was clicking on my TV when I'd walk into the room. And finally I said to him, well, you know, you think you're great at clicking that, but can you really make it come on? And the whole TV came on, nice and bright. And I was like, okay, I'll just take the clicking. Even freaks me out a little bit sometimes. But TVs, radios, light bulbs, just appliances going on and off, anything electrical. And another thing too is the phone. Like the phone can ring, and so the phone can ring and you'll go on and there's no one there, no one there. So that's always spirit trying to get in touch with you, and they can make the phone ring. So another one is, which is pretty cool, is feathers. Feathers from heaven. I don't exactly know why, but when you're walking and you find a feather, it's always a sign from heaven. And it's usually a white feather for some reason. So if you find a feather, you'll know where that came from. Another biggie in heaven is coins. When I'm giving a reading, I'll see a grandpa or a dad go to his front pocket, and he'll go like this, and he'll show me coins. And then if they're trying to get them to you for a sign, they'll kind of be going like that. So you know those pennies from heaven? Although they're not always pennies, sometimes they're nickels, sometimes there's quarters, and there's dimes. People tell me that they actually pick them up and look at the date, and sometimes it's a date of someone's passing or their birthday. Hey, whenever they give me a nickel or whatever, I'm finding I thank them for it. I actually have people that tell me they get so many coins from heaven that they actually put them in a special bank. And this one time, this is what we all wish could happen to us. I was out at an event, doing an event in Westminster, and the dad who came through was showing me that he was actually putting $1 in the little girl's backpack, and I was like, $1? And so I asked if this was true for anyone in the audience, and she said, me, I find $1 every morning in my backpack as I'm getting ready to go to school. And the dad said to me, well, you know, school's expensive, college is expensive. So he was kind of like putting $1 in there every day. Don't ask me how they do that one, I don't know. But spirits can also move things on you, which we're going to get to. So feathers, coins, birds. Another one, ladybugs. Ladybugs all over the place, especially though in winter when they're not supposed to be walking around. My mom loved ladybugs, so I see ladybugs all the time, and I try to take care of them when I see them and put them where they need to go, right? Kind of want to take care of our signs from heaven. Another biggie is flowers. So if you see a flower growing up through a crack or someplace where it's not supposed to be, that's usually a sign from heaven. And another thing is, I've had someone pass that just loved roses, and my rose bushes that year, and we're in New England, was fully bloomed all the way through November. It was amazing. I mean, the snow was starting to come down and these roses just kept blooming. So I just say thank you when I see them. Another one is numbers. numbers and numbers in sequence. And that can be from your loved ones, or that can be from the angels. I also studied with Doreen Virtue, who is known as the Angel Lady, and she actually has a book out, and it's numbers and angels and what they mean. And so sometimes even when I'll see a sequence, I'll run to that book and I'll look it up and see what it means. But the sequences always mean something. And so it's always nice to know, you know, you look at your clock, or there's a license plate, or you're seeing these numbers on your phone, that they're also a sign from heaven. And I started this show today with signs from heaven because this is one of the ways that you can build up your own intuitive muscle that I was talking about, that we can strengthen. But the best way is to know when you're getting the signs. And so when you get a sign from heaven, if you're like, I don't know who that's from, well, that's that time to quiet your mind, take your own thoughts out of the way, and either see if you see something in your mind, or hear something in your mind, or even a feeling or a name comes, because that's that person trying to connect with you. And another way that Spirit and our loved ones can get in touch with us, or angels, is clouds. And so I actually tried this one for myself because, like I said, I trained with Doreen Virtue. And in one of her books, she said that clouds can form things for you, and that's a way to get a sign. So I was actually walking my shepherd one night, and I said, okay, well, I'm going to try this little experiment, because I only really like to teach what has really happened to me, or what I know for sure. So I'm walking my shepherd, and we stop, and he sits down, and I look up, and it takes a couple of minutes sometimes, but I'm looking up there, and all of a sudden I see this beautiful angel face with a halo, and then the body takes form, and then I was like, oh, and then it started coming lower and lower and lower. I almost thought it wasn't going to stop, and I was like, I believe you. So, you know, next time you go to the beach, because I've also seen a lot of things at the beach, the beach is very cleansing for our soul. So look up at the clouds no matter where you are. Give it a couple minutes and see if they can get a sign to you. Now it's like a little game to me. Hey, Mom, can you show me this, or can you show me that? Or, hey, what can you do with that cloud? You know, so take it lightheartedly, but give them a couple minutes, because I'm sure it's hard to get those clouds together for us. Another way to get a message is seeing a beautiful rainbow. You know, sometimes when you're feeling down and Spirit knows that you're feeling down, you can look out the window and see one of these beautiful rainbows. So it's all about paying attention to our outside world to know that our loved ones, or angels, or guides, everyone up there is trying to get a message to you. Why? So you know that you're loved and that you're guided, because that's really what they want us to know. We're on this journey, and this journey is our schoolroom, and heaven is our home. But I always say, oh, God didn't throw us down here and say good luck. We have a whole team of people up there helping us at all times. You especially have a guardian angel that is with you from birth right to the end. But really, you have a whole team up there, and if everybody was a little more aware, we would never feel so alone, right? So, clocks. Yes, so I mentioned the sequence and numbers and clocks, like digital clocks, but if you have one of those clocks with the little birds that actually come out and cuckoo, yeah, the little bird can come out. They can make them happen even if your clock's broken. So pay attention to that. And just any noises in your house, you know, sometimes just make a little noise to get your attention. So another way of feeling spirit is temperature changes or cool breezes, like you're sitting there and all of a sudden you feel kind of cool, right? The temperature changing. Oh, spirit's here. So those are all ways that we can pay attention to the signs from up above, and that one way that, you know, the meditation and the signs from heaven, that we can start building this relationship with spirit. And